Hello guys, and welcome back to a new video. I know I haven't uploaded very much. I promise that will change. I will try to upload more regularly, and yeah, I will remake my own videos just with more details and more input, because as some of you mentioned, they are heavily outdated. Yeah. Let's dive right into it, I guess. Today we'll talk about tier 3 units, just the good side and just the tier 3 units, so figure out what is good and what is bad and what is good when. And we will start with the elven units. Since I'm playing the elves currently, I have those three, and of course I have the tier 4s, but I throw every tier 4 out for this tier list. Yeah, let's start with this. No, let's start with these guys. These guys are the Bone Knights. The Bone Knights are ranged units. They are mounted, which means they get less, they receive less damage. And they are Giant Slayers, which means they deal more damage against large units, which makes them pretty good for tile taking. And it makes them pretty good against big units, like bad side units, for example, trolls. Yeah, I think they should be A tier. Maybe we could talk about putting them B tier. I will put them B tier first, since they are nice, but I do not use them that much. Then we got the Sentinels. The Sentinels are also ranged units. They have as an ability, they have swiftness, which means there is a chance that they can evade the first attack. And I would put them under the Bone Knights, since the Bone Knights are stronger than them. Not by the stats, but by the bonus things they can give you. And there are Heralds. Heralds are pretty shit. A Herald is the melee unit for the elves, and it has only one ability, which is named Counterattack, and they perform a counterattack each time they are attacked. But a counterattack just does not deal 100% of the damage, it just deals about 30% of their damage if it's maxed out. And their normal attack damage goes down by 20%, which means they are not as good as they should be. Pretty bad, to be honest. They have decent stats and they are fine, they are very fast, they have a fine defense rating, but they are just not good. It's just they are not good at all. But they have one point where they are good. If you play two ranged units, then you can use them, since the most melee units will attack them and they will counterattack, and then they are more worth, but they are not worth at all. Let's talk about the melee units for, I guess... Yeah, let's talk about the dwarf melee units. The dwarven melee unit is the Guardian, which I would put into A tier. Since they are very tanky, they are slow. That's the only downside. They got shielding, which means they can reduce physical damage. And they have laceration, which means that if they attack an enemy target, then they will inflict bleeding, which causing the target to suffer for physical damage for one round, if I got that right. They are strong, they are nice. Then there are the axe throwers. The axe throwers are a little bit difficult. I would put them also into C tier, because they are strong against melee units, and they can be big because they get bonus damage against melee units and also get bonus damage against giant units or large units. And they have decent stats, but they have a very high range. Means they will deal in between 9 and 29 damage, which is just hard to handle. But there are items to make them put out the maximum amount of damage, and if you got these items, they guys go up from here to here. But for now, we will put them here, since I do not know what items you have. And yeah, I do not have this item. And then there are the Ram Riders. The Ram Riders should be up here, in my opinion. They are higher than the Bone Knights because of their abilities. They got the ability mounted as all mounted units, which means you receive less damage, but they also have the ability that's called Trample, and that's a percentage value for 1 round. If they hit an enemy, and then they will do the -% stuff, and then your hero or another unit hits them, they deal way more damage. Since they are a melee unit, they have to attack melee units, and let's say they would fight guardians, they would take down some of their armor, and then you would deal more damage. Which is why you take them with you if you play damage dealing comps like Aragon, or was also damage dealing com. I'm not sure. Aragon is a very good example, to be honest. So, let's talk about the humans. And I think we should start with Tower Guards. Tower Guards are decent unit. Let's say, I'm not sure. I should change them a little bit. Yeah, that's better in my opinion. Tower Guards should be put here. They are anti-cavalry units, which means they do bonus damage against mounted units, and they also got the shielding, which we also had with the Guardians, chance to reduce their damage, which is nice. However, their base stats aren't that good. They are not as tanky as Guardians, and they do not have as much as HP as a Guardian, and they do not deal that much damage against Guardians. So I would put them here. Yeah, since their damage is just not high enough. And they do not feel very strong against mounted units, but they are not bad at all. Then there are Dunedain. Dunedain deserve to be in S tier just for one thing and one thing only. Every other melee unit has to attack melee units first, and if there are no melee units, they can attack long-ranged units. Dunedains can counter that out. There is an ability that's called Bullseye, which means they deal up to 30% more damage, and this prioritizes ranged targets, which is insane. They deal a lot of damage. Their basic damage value is very high, and just to counter ranged units very much, they also receive up to 30% less damage from ranged units, which is why you also put them here. And if you fight against elves, for example, they can avoid the counterattacks since they are taking ranged units first. Then, last but not least, we got the Cataphracts, which Cataphracts I would also put here, maybe a little bit higher than... Maybe I would put them here. They are strong, that's for sure. They are also mounted, which means less damage for them, and they got full protection, which means that they got a damage reduction against melee units. I guess it's up to 15% of the value. I'm not completely sure, but they are strong, and I would put them here if the game lets me do it. Then we got the last human unit, the Cavalier. Cavalier are... They aren't shit, to be honest. They are just not that strong. They are mounted, which means, like all mounted units, less damage, and they got the Rohirrim charge, which means the first instance of damage dealt in battle is higher. That's a nice stat, but it's just to sweep things very fast, and that's it. Their base stats look fine, to be honest. They deal a lot of damage, but they are not that tanky. Yeah, but they are fast. And last but not least, the sharpshooters. which I would like to put here. I actually like them most of the ranged units since they got ranged advantage, which means that for the first 2 rounds their damage dealt is higher, I think about 40%, which means that they would put out very much damage in the first 2 rounds, which is very nice, because then you will kill many units and will lose not that much. Yeah, so this is my personal tier list. I hope I could help you. I mean, most of you will already know this stuff. But yeah, let me hear your opinions. And maybe you got an opinion how to use heralds. I'm really looking forward for your comments. And yeah, see you guys around.